What's up, my other warlocks? Just wanted to give you guys a video today that goes over the different legendary and talent combinations that we can use in Antorus the Burning Throne. I will put a link to a screenshot of this so that you just have something to tab back and forth to as you're going boss to boss. This is for normal and heroic and is current as of 7.3.5. I will make a mythic one, but those fights are quite different and belong in a separate video and discussion. So, getting right into it, we have a grading system for all the legendaries here, just A, B, C, or D. The helm is going to be standard on just about every fight, and then beyond the helm we have 4 other legendaries that we will use throughout the entire raid, and that's Pride-As, Sacrilege, Fuse, and Soul of the Netherlord. So, starting off with Garathi, of course he's strictly single target, so we just use our helm and Pride-As single target legendary builds here. Hounds, however, we have 2 different things we want to consider when we're choosing our second legendary for Hounds, and that's whether our group has high DPS or low DPS. As we get further into the tier, eye levels are going up, bosses are dying faster, so we're not seeing as much value from Soul of the Netherlord anymore because execute phases just don't last as long as they used to, which means Sacrilege is just edging it out more and more in that regard. So, we either, for Netherlord to really be powerful, we either need to have lots of adds that go into execute range for us to, sort of milk that, or the execute phase has to last long in a group with low DPS. So, high command, we are going to see the helm, of course, and then Safuz is going to be our best legendary if we can get the procs. If you're in a group where those kicks are just getting sniped, Sacro is certainly not a bad choice. However, if you run Sacro, you're going to want to take Absolute Corruption with it instead of Contagion, which, we'll talk about that when we get to the builds a little later on. Netherlord can be semi-viable in this fight. I don't really recommend it. Of course, we do want the execute talent. That's going to be pretty standard, but if we run the ring, then we're forced into either Siphon Life or Soul Conduit, neither of which are very good on this fight, and that is because there's just so many other ways we can use our globals that trying to keep a Siphon Life on the boss is just kind of it's just not very valuable, and then also the ads, really, they die too fast to see good value from putting Siphon Life on them. And then Soul Conduit, just Shard Gen is just not an issue on this fight, so we don't really need Soul Conduit either. ENR is going to be the only fight where we don't see the helm, and that is because Sacrilege, we get a ton of value out of Sacrilege here from all the corruptions that we get on all the ads spawning, and Safuz, we will run that because we get pretty much to proc it on cooldown with each ads set that spawns through either Howl of Terror or your Infernal. So just a very powerful combination here. Again, we can use Netherlord. I don't really recommend Netherlord here just because these 2 are so powerful. But if you're gonna run Netherlord on this fight, obviously you'd run Soul Conduit with it. But more often than not, I would just stick with these 2. So Portal Keeper, we are pretty much always going to be running Helm and Safuz, and that is because we don't ever have to worry about our kicks getting sniped since we use Howl of Terror on this fight. Lines up perfectly with every set of imps. So yeah, the next 3 fights are strictly single target, so nothing too exciting with Iminar, Kingaroth, and Varimathras, just Helm and Pride-As there. Coven, we will pretty much always be using Helm and Sacrilege, and that is just because we get such a high amount of value from the Torment ads, putting Corruption on all of them, and just really milking the bonus damage we get on Corruption in this fight. Agrimar is a little interesting because, of course, you kill the ads on normal. However, you can take one ad and just make it your little Safuz bitch for the entire fight. As long as your raid's okay with it, it's not going to hurt anything. You can just sit there and just repeatedly banish it and get Safuz procs on cooldown, which is nice. Of course, in Heroic, we're just about always going to be assigned to CC something, so we're going to be able to get our procs through that as well. Argus, we are running Helm and Sacrilege here, and that is because we play almost entirely around the ad phase. It's just so good to have all those permanent corruptions on the ads. It's pretty much where all of our damage comes from in this fight. So, will lose a little bit of value as we move through the tier and that fight doesn't last as long. However, it'll probably be quite a while before another legendary just blows this out of the water. When that happens, it'll probably be, we'll switch to some type of single target build and just nuke the boss. Like I said, that's probably going to be a while down the road. So now just kind of get into the builds that we have here. First, of course, is our single target build. This is just MG, Contagion, Soul Harvest, and Siphon Life. So we see this on Garathi, Iminar, Kingaroth, Varimathras, and Agrimar. Build 2, this is our 2-target build for dogs. Writhe and Agony, Absolute Corruption, Soul Harvest, and Siphon Life. So only really use this on dogs, and we do see that we have build 3 as an option. Build 3, this is going to be mostly our heavy ad cleave build. The reason why this might be viable on hounds is, again, if your raid has low DPS, the only thing that switches between build 2 and build 3 is the last talent. Just we take Death's Embrace instead of Siphon Life. But this build is mostly going to be, it's kind of an option on high command. However, I would recommend build 4. Build 3 on high command is if you're running Sacrolash. It's very powerful. You're going to build this on Coven and Argus, so this is what gives us all of our damage when those ads come out and we're using Sacrolash. So build 4, this is our light ad cleave build, pretty much just for high command. It gives us a tremendous amount of boss damage, while also giving us the option to really milk the execute on the ads. So it's just Writhe and Agony, Contagion. Of course, we keep our 15-stack Agony and a UA on the boss at all times, and then we just do whatever we can to milk the execute on the ads. Build 5, this is our Portal Keeper build. Very similar to the high command build, however, we do switch out this talent. We take Howl instead of Demonic Circle, and we take Phantom Singularity instead of Soul Harvest. So again, this is our Portal Keeper build, and very, very powerful. Lots of single target damage, great ad cleave. Just a little tip for the actual fight, make sure you are proccing your Safus before you Phantom Singularity, because Safus will make your Phantom Singularity tick faster with how fast the ads die. This could be the difference between, getting hardly any ticks on them versus, actually seeing value from your Phantom Singularity. So just a little tip for the fight. Build 6, this is our AoE build for Iminar. ENR. We are most of the time going to be running Writhe and Agony and ELT here. However, you can use Malefic Grasp or Absolute Corruption. It really just kind of depends on your raid and how quickly things are dying. We also have the option between Death's Embrace and Soul Conduit. I prefer Soul Conduit here. And that is because with how fast the ads die, it can actually be kind of hard to get agonies out, and shard sniping really cuts into our ability to cast Sow the Seeds. So Soul Conduit is excellent to make sure that we have the shard gen that we need to do damage on this fight, but Death's Embrace can also work. So yeah, anyway, hope this helped you guys. Feel free to leave any comments for other ideas of videos that you guys might want to see. And other than that, like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you found this helpful. And happy warlocking.